Language Learning Series. Your phone, your English teacher.
You know, learning a new language used to feel like this massive undertaking. But what if the absolute best tools to get you fluent aren't in some expensive classroom, but are actually right here in your pocket? Today, we're going to unlock the ultimate digital toolkit for language learning. Remember this picture? The old way of doing things meant rigid schedules, crazy high costs, and let's be honest, some pretty boring methods. It felt like a system designed to put up more walls than bridges. Well, that's the game-changing reality we're diving into today. The very device you're watching this on, that's your ticket to fluency. We're going to walk you through the exact apps and workflows you need to build a language from the ground up, starting right now. Okay, first things first. We need words, right? You can't build a house without bricks, and you definitely can't build a language without vocabulary. So how do we efficiently build up our own personal dictionary and actually remember it? Let's get into it. This is usually the first big choice you have to make. Now, what's really interesting here is the trade-off. Anki is incredibly powerful. It uses something called a spaced repetition algorithm, which is basically a smart system that shows you flashcards right before you're about to forget them. It's a proven method to really lock words into your long-term memory. But Quizlet just wins on simplicity. For most people who are just starting out, its clean interface makes it the go-to choice, no question. So the secret here isn't just using the app, it's having a system. Organize your folders logically, maybe break them down by month. Pro tip, create your flashcards on a computer. It is so much faster. Then your phone becomes your review tool on the go. And that shuffle all feature, it's a total game changer. It pulls from all your lists at once so you get a really solid review session and you're not just remembering the words you learned yesterday. All right, once you've got some words under your belt, it's time to see how they actually work in the real world. These next few tools are like the bridge between the individual words you know and the full sentences you want to understand and eventually create yourself. Forget those old, clunky, literal translators from back in the day. DeepL is a whole different animal. It uses some seriously advanced AI to understand context and give you natural-sounding sentences, not just a word-for-word swap. This is absolutely crucial for learning how people actually speak. And this is where it gets really, really cool. You can type in a single phrase, and DeepL will spit out multiple, equally correct ways to say it. By looking at these different options, you start to pick up on synonyms and more nuanced phrasing. It turns a simple translation into a little mini lesson every single time. Next up, we need something called comprehensible input. That's just a fancy term for hearing and seeing the language in a way you can mostly understand, but that still pushes you a little. And honestly, there is no bigger or better free resource for this than YouTube. It's an absolute goldmine of lessons, conversations, you name it. But, endless can be overwhelming. So here's a super simple, effective strategy. Find a creator you actually like watching. This is huge for staying motivated. Then go straight to their channel page and sort their videos by most popular. The YouTube algorithm has basically done the work for you, showing you the videos that thousands of other learners found the most helpful. You're getting their greatest hits right off the bat. Now, if you're someone who likes a more structured approach, Language Transfer is an amazing free resource. It's a full-on audio course that seriously feels like you're sitting in on a real language class. It is a fantastic way to get a feel for grammar and sentence structure without even trying. Okay, now let's talk about the real future of language learning, AI. It's not just a gimmick anymore. It's an incredibly powerful tool that can speed up your progress by automating all the boring stuff and creating personalized content just for you. We've all been there, right? You've got this list of 50 new words, and the thought of manually typing out a flashcard for every single one is just exhausting. There has to be a better way. And here it is. This one simple prompt turns ChatGPT into your personal assistant. You tell it the topic and, this is the key, the exact format that Quizlet needs to import everything. In literally seconds, you have a perfectly formatted list ready to copy and paste. The amount of time this saves is just enormous. So here's another big roadblock for a lot of people, finding stuff to read that's at your level and is also about something you find interesting. I mean, textbooks can be so dry, right? And it's hard to find an article about your favorite anime that isn't way too advanced. Problem solved. With a prompt just like this one, you can generate endless reading material on any topic you're passionate about, all perfectly tailored to your current skill level. So you can say goodbye to boring textbooks and hello to learning with content you actually love. So you've got your AI-generated article. Now what? You paste it into ReadLang. This tool creates this totally seamless reading experience. Anytime you hit a word you don't know, you just click on it, and boom, instant translation. No more jumping between tabs and losing your focus. This next part is, well, it's everything. Listening and reading are essential, but you have to practice your output, your speaking. Finding a speaking partner can be tough, it can be expensive, and scheduling is a nightmare. So how can you practice on your own terms? Simple. You turn your AI into a speaking partner with a really precise 4-part prompt. You define the goal of the conversation, you state your proficiency level, you set the rules for how it should correct you, and you give it some context about yourself. This transforms a basic chatbot into a personalized language tutor. And here's what that looks like in practice. The AI doesn't just talk at you, it has a real conversation with you, following your rules. It catches your mistake, gives you the correct version, and then explains why in English, just like you asked it to. It's a fantastic, totally judgment-free space to practice. So we've built this incredible digital toolkit, but it's super important to understand where technology has its limits and where that human element is still totally irreplaceable. So let's break it down. An AI tutor is unbeatable for its 24/7 availability and the fact that it's free. It's perfect for drilling grammar and getting instant corrections. But a human tutor, that's where you learn the subtleties, the right accent, cultural nuances, and the kind of personalized advice that an AI just can't replicate. At least not yet. The big takeaway here is that these aren't competing tools. They actually work together perfectly. You use all these digital tools to build a really strong foundation. Then, when you're finally ready for a human tutor or maybe a trip abroad, you'll be able to make the absolute most of that real-world interaction. So we've given you the map and all the tools. They're powerful, they're accessible, and they're ready to go on your phone right this second. The only question left is, what world are you going to unlock?